Right. Warm greetings to you, colleagues. I welcome you guys to the AUI 4861 tutorial orientational class. My name is Mr. Privilege. I'm the tutor from Grad Consulting and tutorials that will be helping in facilitating and giving you guys guidance in regards to the content for this module, in terms also of giving you guidelines in assignments and also exam preparations. And normally that we call them boot camps, which we normally host towards exam period, right? So without any further ado, let's jump into today's agenda. Opening remarks, this is just to give you guys a bit of a background as to who GradQuest is. So basically, we are a private tutorial institution, and what we specialize in, it's varsity tutorial services, mainly from an undergrad level all the way up to PhD level. So in your case, as you're doing AUI 4861, this is a postgraduate module at honors level. So majority of you, I believe, you are doing postgraduate diploma in internal auditing, or probably you are doing an honors qualification in risk management or anything of that nature, but probably you decided then, of course, to embark on the journey on this particular module. So different faculties that we specialize in involves the EMS faculty, BSc and IT faculty, and the faculty of law. But in your case, because it's more finance related modules, it will fall under the EMS faculty, okay? Right. So what is our primary objective? Why is it that we provide tutoring services? We want to ensure that you as a student would complete your qualification in record time. We aim to achieve this obviously through our value-adding tutorial services. I'm going to be explaining in terms of what our tutoring service package involves, what it involves, and how we're going to be functioning throughout this 2024 academic year. So I personally believe that teamwork, it works effectively, especially at this level where you are now. You cannot work in isolation. You need to be able to work with other students as well. Apart from just the input that you would get from me as a tutor, but you also need to interact with your fellow students so that you can be able to share ideas in some of these questions that you're going to come across, be it in the setup of assignments or even during the course of preparing for the final examination. In terms of, if you want to find more information about us, you can visit our website at www.gradquest.co.za. So you'll be able to just gain more insight in terms of who we are. But that is not the focus area for this discussion, but I just thought it would be good for me to just give you a background of who we are and how we can be of help to you guys, right? So this is what we're going to be discussing in today's engagement. Since it's an orientation, I would have to take you guys through the module outline. What does AUI 4861 as a module? What does it involve? What are the various topics of note that I, as a student, would need to be equipped with so that I can be fit to answer questions, whether they come in a setup of an assignment or in the context of an examination? What is it that I would need to know? Right, that's what I would explain through the module outline. Then I'll also give you guys a breakdown in terms of assignments. So your assignments, obviously, they are made up of MCQs, or what they call quizzes, right? So you'd have a setup of quiz assignments. There'll be 2 of those. And you also have a setup of essay-based assignments. Those ones are written assignments, okay? Then I'll also give you an outline in terms of our tutorial services. What do we offer as an institution, right? And then, of course, I'm going to do a practical discussion of one of the past exam papers for October, November 2019. You'll see it when I get to that part. But it is just for me to give you guys a perspective of our style of teaching. But I'm pretty sure with the recordings that I initially shared with you guys in the group, you kind of like got an idea in terms of how we present information. And, you know, so for every topic that I'm going to be explaining throughout the semester, you'll discover that I have notes that I've prepared, some of them most likely in this format as a as a PowerPoint presentation so that I can be able to, to help you guys understand some of these concepts in a much more simplified manner. Then, of course, I'll explain about the fee structure and then conduct details and all that. Right, so that is just admin stuff, but this will give you guys a perspective for the direction of our discussion for tonight. So without further ado, what is AUI 4861 made up of in terms of the assumed knowledge, in terms of the topics of note that one needs to know by the end of the year? So there are 6 essential topics, guys, very important. First topic deals with the International Professional Practice Framework. This particular concept in topic 1, it's something that you guys have already been introduced to at an undergrad level from second year level in AUI 2601. You also found the same concept also being explained in AUI 3701. That is a third year module at undergrad level. You find the same thing in AUI 3702, AUI 3703, as well as in AUI 3704. So it's a very fundamental principle when it comes to the practice of internal auditing, right? So that's one of the things that I'm going to be addressing even in the context of a practical discussion that we're going to have of the October-November 2019 exam paper. Now, topic number 2, it introduces you guys to what we call the regulatory frameworks. Now, with the regulatory frameworks, the moment you hear the term regulatory, it should tell you that there's some legality involved. There's some laws that we need to be complying with in as far as our practice of internal auditing is concerned, especially in certain fraternities that involves the public sector, for example. There will be certain, regulatory acts that we need to be able to observe when we are performing certain engagements on their behalf, right? So that's what we deal with in topic 2. But at the same time, in topic 2, you also get introduced to the concept of corporate governance. And I must say this to you, colleagues, that topic 2, they really love it in the context of your exams. You definitely get questions where they are asking about corporate governance. And when they ask you or test you guys about corporate governance in this case, it can be anything to do with the Companies Act. It can be anything to do with the King 4 report on corporate governance. It can be anything to do with the PFMA and MFMA. So it's very important to... So it's very important, colleagues, to take cognizance of topic number 2. They always test it. If you look at least 4 previous exam papers, 4 or even 2 previous past assignments, you would notice that almost 90% of the time, when you look into the context of questions that they ask, they will be testing you something to do with corporate governance. So your knowledge base with respect to topic 2, guys, it ought to be fit. But like, it's also some of the things that you partially got introduced to in AUI 3704. That is an undergraduate third year level module. So there's some elements from that, or some aspects really concerning corporate governance that they introduced you to at third year level. Now in topic 3, we will look at what we call the in-house, outsourced, and the cost-sourced internal audit activities. Now, when you look at this simply tells you about the different internal audit structures that organizations can establish. And the establishment of the different internal audit structures, it always varies from organization to organization. And there are several factors that actually influences the type of an internal audit structure that the organization would establish. So for instance, there will be certain organizations that may not require to have an in-house internal audit activity as a department. All right, it could be because maybe the company is still at its starting up phase. So it's still a fairly small organization. So they will not need to have an established in-house internal audit structure. But if it's a state-owned enterprise, or if it's a public organization, by virtue of law, and which is some of the things we'll touch in topic 2, according to the Companies Act and the PFMA, they are mandated, especially the government enterprises, they are mandated to have an internal audit division in-house internal audit division established, right? Now, when you're talking of outsourced, okay, the outsourced internal audit function normally happens when when we decide to use the services of external service providers who are specializing in internal auditing. Now, with cost source, just so that I give you guys a bit of perspective here, with the cost source, the internal audit activity structure, it's one whereby there is already an existing in-house internal audit activity. In other words, there's a department for internal auditing that's already been established. But then because maybe of certain audit requests from management or from the board, we to also involve maybe a service of an external service provider because we are lacking maybe say certain expertise required in that in the request from management or the board. So under those circumstances, that's when we have to cost source some internal audit services. All right. So cost source it just means there's complementary efforts of both the in-house internal audit structure and the external service provider. Okay. So that's what you would deal with in topic number 3. There are notes already that I've prepared with respect to that, which I'll discuss throughout the course of this academic year. In topic number 4, they introduce you to the establishment, administration, and management of the internal audit activity, IAA. So every time when you see the abbreviation term IAA, it simply means internal audit activity. And when you're referring to the internal audit activity, we're simply referring to the internal audit department. That's what IAA really refers to. Okay. So now, if we have a setup where we need to establish the internal audit division, right? What is the procedure that it ought to be followed for us to have an established internal audit activity in an organization, right? So when we go through topic 4, I'll be explaining about that. And we'll also need to take cognizance of certain, role players that are involved in that process, particularly the chief audit executive. And of course, we also see the involvement of the board, in particular, the audit committee's involvement when it comes to this. You were introduced to this, not in a greater detail, but at this level, you have to get into detail, of course. But it was introduced in AUI 3704, right? Which is a 3rd-year level module. Then topic 5 deals with stakeholder communication and audit communication. Now, this you found it partly introduced in AUI 3703, which is a 3rd-year level module. You can go and confirm these things that I'm telling you. You will definitely find it to be so. Now, with stakeholder communication, here's the deal. When you perform an internal audit engagement, right? At the end of the day, we understand that according to the IPPF standards, there has to be planning that takes place, right? There has to be the performing of the engagement that ought to take place. I'm talking of the internal audit process here. There ought to be what? There ought to be a reporting or communication of the result. And lastly, there has to be monitoring. Now, when you're looking at topic number 5, one of the things that this topic seeks to achieve is to help you guys understand the different ways by which internal auditors communicate the results of their audit engagements. In particular, it has to be done in form of what we call audit working papers, okay? Working papers. So it's also important to understand the content of what a working paper involves. So if you are in practice already and you are in the internal audit division, I'm pretty sure you might be familiar already with what a working paper really entails, right? But I'm also going to be explaining some of those things to you when we get to topic 5 to say what are the details that should be embedded within a working paper document presented to management or to the board for reporting purposes. Then still with topic 5, but I'm going to try and tally it with topic number 6, dealing with marketing of the internal audit activity, right? When with topic number 6, all they are simply trying to achieve there is they're simply trying to define why organizations should establish internal audit activity if necessary. Why do we have internal auditors in existence? That's what topic number 6 seeks to explain to you. Why do we have internal audit activity or as a function? Why does it exist in businesses, in companies, from a practical point of view? And how do we establish the position of the internal auditor, internal audit activity rather, within an organization? And so yeah, those are the kind of things that we'll be explaining from topic number 6. But just thought maybe let me give you guys a broader perspective, just so that at least you have got an idea what you're going to be looking at. But for today's discussion, my emphasis, it will be with respect to topic 1, but I've already shared info in the group where I've already taught about topic 1 in detail. So what I'm going to be focusing on as a practical discussion is just a practical past exam paper for October, November 2019. Before I get to that part, with regards to IPPF framework as a topic, it can be tested in 2 ways, guys. It can either come as part of your multiple choice questions in the context of an exam, or it can come as an essay-based question, such as what we're going to be looking at in tonight's discussion. So you need to be effectively equipped both ways, whether it comes as a multiple choice question or whether it comes in a setup of an essay-based question. You must be in a position to address questions pertaining to that. In terms of your assignments, all your assignments, guys, will be provided through the online platform, which is my UNISA. There are 4 assignments for this module. Depending on, this structure that I've put, it is based on how they tested like last year in terms of the assignment. So the first one, it was an MCQ-based quiz assignment, setup of 20 questions. Now, I'm not saying that it will always be subject to 20 questions. The lecturer can decide to change, and maybe they can bring 25 or even 30 or whatever number of their choice. But the idea here is that it will be an online quiz, which you need to complete on the online, on the online platform, in this case, my UNISA. Assignment 2 was an essay-based assignment. I'm talking in the context of the structure for last year, remember. So assignment 2, it can be an essay-based, assignment 3, essay-based, but they can still change the structure in terms of what you see here. But the most important thing to note is that there will be 2 multiple choice-based assignments, and there will be 2 essay-based assignments. All right, just to confirm for the 2024 academic year, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what you guys have observed on the platform. If you have navigated through my modules, I'm pretty sure you guys have already come across that. Just confirm.
Yes, it is. But I think assignment 3 is an MCQ and then assignment 4 is essay-based.
Yeah,
I just know that, yeah, I just know that assignment 1 is an MCQ because it's due soon.
Yes.
And then assignment 2 is an essay one. But
Yes.
I think assignment 3 and 4 are switched around. It's MCQ then essay-based.
Essay-based, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, so like exactly what I was saying, to say they can change the structure, but the most important thing to note is that there are 2 MCQ-based assignments and there are 2 essay-based assignments. So regardless of whether it's assignment 1 or assignment 4, whatever the case, the most important thing is just to take note of is the fact that there are 2 MCQs and 2 essay-based, right? I'm not going to dwell too much on this. Just to explain what our tutorial services entail.
Sorry,
Yes.
Privilege.
Yes.
I see on the group there are people that are saying they can't hear anything. Can we just pause while they log in and out again?
For sure.
Log out and log in again.
For sure.
I think
you guys. Okay, so colleagues, proceeding further, I was just explaining earlier about the assignments, the number of assignments you guys have. So there's setup of 4, 2 MCQs, and then 2, they will be essay-based. So I wanted to then get to the part where I will explain to you guys about our tutorial services as Grad. What do we offer to you guys? So we do tutorial classes, such as the one that we are doing now online, mostly via Zoom. We also offer you guys assignment guidance throughout all the 4 assignments. So I would, especially with the essay-based ones, I would definitely discuss the questions with you guys in a class setup so that you can also be able to gain perspective of how to approach a written question in the context of an assignment. This also helps to prepare you, especially also even in the case of an exam, because the essay-based questions that you get in the assignment, they're very much similar to how they test even in the context of an exam. So it's very important to give attention to assignment guidance that I would be giving you throughout the semester. Then we also have something called exam preparation bootcamps. So with exam preparation bootcamps, this normally happens towards exam time. So these are what I normally call or attribute to as marathon classes. So what it involves exam packs. So with exam packs, it's a compilation of different questions from past exam papers and some solutions to that, as well as some exam preparatory notes, just so that it complements the, you know, the exam packs. Then we've got what we call one-on-one consultation. That is if maybe say you are maybe shy to ask questions in a group setup, but you want to inquire more information about a particular aspect in the module, you can also do that. Right. So this is just to explain our tutorial services and what we offer. So what I would like to then channel you guys to is the class discussion for tonight. So what we will do, because it's already showing me here that we are only left with 5 minutes. So what I'll do, I'll end this meeting now, and then we have to reconnect in the next 2 minutes so that we can begin with the class discussion, because that one I need to ensure that I give you at least a full 40 minutes session discussion for that. Is it okay for everyone?
Yes.
It's okay.
Yeah, so in the next 2 minutes after I've ended this this segment, we reconnect again so that we do the class discussion of the past exam paper. Thank you, colleagues.